Well, these are our 1-year-old rats, and outside their lovely pink Savick cocoon that we bought them for Easter, or just before Easter they got this. They were getting too big for their other houses. And six rats can fit in there quite comfortably, even if they were a little bit bigger. Here we're going to have some girls stealing somebody else's food, but we have Lily at the front here. And I think that's our little Sophie, and Daisy, and Chloe. And today I'm going to talk about how our rats got their names. Now, I'm going back over the last 3 years, so some of these rats you won't have seen in the videos because they have passed away. But I'm going to start with Ko, and that was a Japanese name, and it means face. And Ko had a beautiful face. It's spelled K-A-O, and I don't know how the Japanese people would pronounce that, but we just liked the sound of it, and we thought, well, we're going to give her something different, something that's really nice. And we were reading a lot of mangas, comics and things at the time, and anime, and so we were heavily influenced by Japanese things at the time. And Kayla, K-A-L-A, is also a Japanese girl's name, and it means things like fine things, fine arts, you know, delicate things. So Kayla was a very delicate rat, so that suited her very well. And then Coco, the other sister, got her name because she was very dark chocolate colour, like cocoa beans. And then we had Rosie and Poppy, and obviously we've still got Poppy now, and they were babies, and I just decided I like flowers. I'm going to give them some flower names. We hadn't previously used flower names for our rats, but I didn't want to make anything up. I just thought I'd like to, they're very pretty little rats, and I thought I want something pretty for them. So Rosie and Poppy, I like roses and I like poppies, and I just thought they sounded nice together. And then Bella and Blossom came along together, and they already had their names. And it was right at the height of the Twilight films being very popular. So we think that Bella's name came from the Twilight films, and we're guessing that Blossom was chosen just really because it sounds nice with Bella. And my girls are going to bed. Hello, little one. We got one down here, little Ellie. And then we had 4 sisters. It's very sad. Shouldn't do this, but I'm going to sneak you a sweetie for being so little and so cute. And you just stay there where we can see you. We had a very sad case of 4 sisters who were 2 and they didn't have names. Their names are a bit of a mixture. It was hard to name older rats, and we didn't want to leave it too long, but you have to get to know the rats a little bit. But one of them just looked like an Abby to me straight away, so we called her Abby, and that's with I-E at the end. And then there was another one, poor little brave thing, that was very bad condition, and she was a pretty thing, but she'd lost half her hair due to neglect, and we called her Hannah, H-A-N-A, which is flower in Japanese. Another tiny one was little Lacey, and she was L-A-C-I-E. Now Lacey was white and very delicate, and it just seemed to suit her, the word Lacey, so we called her Lacey. And the 4th girl, we were sort of struggling to think of a name for her. She was quite a brave girl, and we thought, what can we call her? So at the time we were watching Firefly programs on DVD, and if you like science fiction, you'll know a bit about Firefly probably. And there's a character on there called Kaylee, K-A-Y-L-E-E, and so our 4th name was Kaylee. And so they didn't really go together, the names, but they suited the rats, and I think that's the most important thing. And then soon after that, our lovely girl Bo came along. Now Bo already had her name, and we're not sure if she was named after somebody, if somebody famous. She had the male spelling, B-E-A-U. Okay, here comes a sweetie. But say that is becoming more popular, that spelling, for females as well. And it's funny because she came along not long after Bella and Blossom. They all look the same, agouti hooded Dumbos, And once she got used to us and used to being with other rats again, she became great friends. So it was always Bella, Blossom and Bo. They just went together and it was really lovely. And then just over a year ago we came to these little girls. Yes, that is right. It's Chloe, Ellie and Sophie who are actually cooperating, and I want to talk about them, and they're all here together. So we have Sophie, Ellie and Chloe. Now they came to us as babies so we could choose their names, and we were at the time we played all the Uncharted games, all 3 of them, and we were eagerly awaiting for The Last of Us, which are all Naughty Dog games. So we thought we'd pick some of the characters from there, and there was a Chloe and an Ellie. So we chose Ellie for the tiny one and Chloe for the bigger sister. And then Sophie, she got her name just because we liked the name Sophie and it seemed to go with the other names. And then 6 months later, the other 3 sisters came to live with us and they hadn't been named at all. So we were free to choose their names. I thought we'd have two flower names. And so just Daisy and Lily, just because I liked them. And then it left us with our very mischievous girl, Amy, who became Amy Pond. And really, she was after Amy Pond from Doctor Who, which I've probably mentioned before. She's a bit of an adventurer, and we just thought that really suited her. And then we came to the 4 mummies who came to live with us. Dawn and Miranda, they had been named by the lady who had them, and they were after Dawn French and Miranda Hart, the comedians. And I think those 2 names actually sound like, really nice together, Dawn and Miranda. It just sort of rolls quite nicely when you're calling them. So that's how they got their names. And Ginny and Molly, who'd originally come from a different rescue place, and they all ended up together with Dawn and Miranda, but they had been named in their original home, Ginny and Molly, after Harry Potter characters. Hello, lovely. Hello, sweetie. So they were sort of film names, and I do have know some people who always choose character names from books as well, which is quite interesting. But then we come to our final 3, Beth, Maggie and Sasha. Now some of you have already worked this out and you've asked me, messaged me, and I've replied to I think everybody to say yes, you're quite right. They're characters from Walking Dead. There were some very strong characters in Walking Dead and we have just watched all of them. Just caught up with the box set at Christmas and watched the latest ones on television. And we looked at these 3 new little rats who were quite nervous, and there was one tiny one, and there was the Dumbo was always protecting her, so we thought that suits Beth and Maggie, because Maggie is always looking out for Beth, her sister, in the programme. And then the other one was a bit more braver, a bit more feisty, and we thought Sasha, that just suits her. So that's how all of our girls that have got their names. And we'd be really interested to hear how you choose your rats' names, and whether you've picked characters from books or films, or whether you've just made up a name and have a really unusual name for your rats.